I-270. I didn't scream, filed insurance, and helped him find another. Last year, when he proposed, I took him to dinner downtown steakhouse, told him I was proud that I'd always be there. He called me Dad that night, and now this. I walked to my office and pulled down an old filed box labeled Dylan. Important documents. Inside were receipts, every single one. Tuition payments, rent checks, car title with my name, medical bills, insurance policy additions, and the trust fund. $50,000 I'd set up 7 years ago after a promotion, discretionary trust, me as grantor. Paperwork was clear. I retained all rights to revoke or redirect funds any time. Dylan just knew there was some money set aside for a house or family. Footsteps on the stairs. Patricia appeared, hair messy, still in her robe. "Rob, aren't you getting ready?" "We leave in an hour," Patricia said. "We're not going," I said quietly. She blinked. "What?" "Dylan doesn't want me there." Her face shifted, not surprise. Something else that told me she knew. "How long have you known?" I asked. She hesitated. "Patricia, how long?" "They told me last week," she admitted. "Melissa's family is particular. Kevin's going to be there, and they thought it would be easier." Easier for who? She didn't answer. I pulled out the trust documents and laid them on the desk. "What are you doing?" Patricia asked, correcting a mistake. I said the office felt smaller than usual, maybe because the walls were closing in with the weight of what I was about to do. I sat at my desk and opened my laptop, pulling up the folder I created years ago. Encrypted, password protected, the kind of thing you set up when you're trying to be responsible, when you still believe family means something. Inside were PDFs of every major financial document tied to Dylan, the trust agreement, bank statements showing deposits, receipts for the car payments, insurance premiums, tuition checks, even the stupid $500 loan I gave him 3 years ago when he needed new tires and swore he'd pay me back. He never did. I clicked on the trust document first. $50,000 established in 2017. The language was clear as day. Grantor retains full discretionary authority, including revocation, reallocation, and modification of beneficiary terms at any time without consent of beneficiary. Translation: it was mine. All of it. I could freeze it, redirect it, donate it to the Humane Society if I wanted to. Dylan had no legal claim. I opened a new email to my estate attorney, Lou Chambers. Lou and I went back 15 years. He'd handle my will, Patricia's will, the paperwork when we bought the house. Solid guy. Didn't ask unnecessary questions. Lou, need immediate action on the discretionary trust for Dylan Hayes. Freeze all distributions effective immediately. Prepare formal revocation documents. We'll call Monday to discuss permanent reallocation. Rob. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Next was the travel folder. Dylan and Melissa's honeymoon. Cancun 5-star resort all-inclusive package. Booked 8 months ago under my credit card as a wedding gift. $12,000. The confirmation email sat right there in my inbox, complete with reservation number and cancellation policy. I forwarded it to myself, then opened the resort's website and found a contact form. Type, quickly, professionally to whom it may concern. I need to cancel reservation number 84729 under the name Hayes. The cardholder is initiating a chargeback effective immediately. Please confirm cancellation. No further contact necessary. Send. The car insurance was next. I pulled up the policy documents. Dylan was still listed under my plan, had been since he turned 16. I kept him on it even after he moved out, even after he got his own place, save him a fortune in premiums. I called the insurance company automated system first, then a live person. State Farm, this is Jennifer. How can I help you today? I need to remove a driver from my policy today. I said, absolutely, sir. Can I get your policy number? I rattle it off. And the driver's name? Dylan Hayes. Typing sounds. Okay, I see him here. Is this a permanent removal? Yes. May I ask the reason? Just for our records, he's no longer part of my household, I said. Technically true. Understood. This will take effect at midnight tonight. Your new premium will be adjusted on the next billing cycle. Anything else I can help with? That's it. Thank you, Mr. Hayes. Have a great day. I hung up and stared at the screen. 3 actions in less than 20 minutes. Trust frozen. Honeymoon canceled. Insurance terminated. The kind of moves that would take Dylan weeks to untangle if he even could. Patricia appeared in the doorway. She got dressed, put on makeup, the lavender dress she bought specifically for the wedding. "Rob, we need to talk about this," she said, her voice shaky. "Nothing to talk about. He's my son, and he made his choice," I said, not looking up from the laptop. "I'm just making mine. You're being cruel." That made me stop. I turned in my chair to face her fully. "Cruel," I repeated. "Cruel is raising a kid for 19 years and getting called pathetic. Cruel is being uninvited to a wedding you pay for. Cruel is finding out your own wife knew about it and said nothing." Her eyes filled with tears. "They didn't want to hurt you." "Well, mission failed," I said, turning back to the computer. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I have more mistakes to correct." She stood there for a moment longer, then left. I heard her heels on the hardwood, heard the bedroom door close upstairs. I pulled up one more document. Dylan's apartment lease. I'd co-signed it 14 months ago when his credit wasn't good enough. The lease renewal was coming up in 6 weeks. I made a note to contact the landlord Monday morning and remove myself as guarantor. They wanted me out of their lives. Done. But they didn't get to keep the safety net I'd built underneath them. The house felt different after Patricia left for the wedding. Quieter but not peaceful. More like the silence before a storm breaks. I made another pot of coffee and went back to my office. There was one more thing Dylan didn't know about. The big one. 3 years ago, my company went through a major restructuring. I'd been with Precision Manufacturing for 26 years, worked my way up from floor supervisor to senior management. When they consolidated the Ohio operations, I was offered early retirement or promotion. I took the promotion and a fat bonus, $68,000 after taxes. Patricia wanted to use it for a kitchen remodel. I told her we'd get to that eventually. Instead, I set up a second trust, called it the Grandchild Fund in my head, though I never told Dylan or Patricia the full amount. Just mentioned once or twice that I'd put aside something for the future. $250,000 built up through smart investments, dividend reinvestment, a few lucky stock picks. The paperwork was buried in my safe deposit box at Huntington Bank, structured the same way as Dylan's trust. Discretionary, revocable, mine. I planned to give it to Dylan when his first kid was born. Help with a house down payment, college fund, whatever they needed. I picture myself as the grandfather who could make life easier the way my grandfather had done for me. Now that money was going somewhere else. I called Lou Chambers Saturday morning, but he picked up on the third ring. "Rob, I got her email. You sure about this?" Lou asked. "Completely sure. There's more? More? I have a second fund. Larger. I want it reallocated too." Silence on the line. Then Lou exhaled slowly. "How much larger?" $250,000. Give or take. Jesus, Rob, that's not small money. You want to move all of it? Every cent. I want to go into the Veterans Education Fund, the one that helps kids from military families afford college. You realize once we do this, it's permanent. There's no walking it back. That's the point. I said, "All right, I'll need the account information and trust documents. Can you get them to me Monday? I'll bring them to your office myself." "One more thing," Lou said. "If Dylan figures this out and challenges it, he's got no legal standing. But Patricia might, as your spouse. She could argue community property, especially if any of this was accumulated during the marriage. The bonus was mine. The investments were mine. She never touched them. Okay, just making sure you know the landscape. I'll have everything drafted by Tuesday." I hung up and opened my email. The wedding had started 30 minutes ago. I pulled up Facebook on my phone. Search for Melissa's mother's profile. She'd been posting photos all week. Sure enough, there it was. Live updates. A photo of the ceremony space. White chairs, flower arrangements, string lights. Another photo of Kevin Brock in a cheap suit standing next to Dylan at the altar. The caption read, "So blessed to have both fathers here to support this beautiful union." Both fathers like I was just an accessory, an optional extra. I kept scrolling. Found a post from 2 weeks ago. Melissa's mother talking about wedding planning. One of the comments caught my eye. "So glad you could keep it intimate. Family only is always better." Melissa's mother had replied, "Exactly, just the people who really matter." I took a screenshot, forwarded it to my phone, then I did something I'd never done before. I opened Dylan's Instagram, looked at his post from the last 6 months, found one from his bachelor party. Him and 5 buddies at a bar in Columbus, beers raised. The caption, "Last night of freedom with my real family, Dad and the boys." Dad meaning Kevin, not me, never me. I closed the app and set my phone down. My hands weren't shaking. That surprised me. I felt calm, focused, like I've been carrying something heavy for years, and finally set it down. Patricia came home around 6 o'clock that evening. I heard her car in the driveway, heard the front door open. She didn't call out, just came straight to the office. "It was beautiful," she said quietly. Dylan looked happy. Good for him. Kevin gave a speech, talked about how proud he was. I didn't respond. "Ra, please, can we just talk about this?" I turned to my chair to face her. "What's there to talk about?" Dylan made his choice. "You knew about it and said nothing. I'm just cleaning up a mess. He's going to call you. What he finds out about the honeymoon? Let him call. What am I supposed to tell him? Tell him the truth." I said tell him his pathetic stepfather. Stop being pathetic. The call came at 9:47 p.m. Dylan. I let it ring 4 times before answering. Put it on speaker so Patricia could hear. "Rob, what the hell did you do?" Dylan's voice came through sharp, panicked. "You'll need to be more specific," I said calmly. "The resort. They said the reservation was canceled. They did a charge back." "That's correct." "Are you serious right now? We're supposed to fly out tomorrow. You're still welcome to go. You just need to pay for it yourself." "Pay for it, Rob. That's $12,000. Then I guess you should have thought about that before uninviting me to your wedding." Silence. Then Melissa's voice, in the background, shrill and angry. "Is that him? Let me talk to him." "Melissa wants to talk to you," Dylan said. "I don't care what Melissa wants," I said, and hung up. The phone rang again immediately. I declined to call. It rang again, declined. Then a text message appeared. "You're unbelievable. After everything we did to keep the peace, you're punishing us for trying to avoid drama." I replied, "You avoided me. Big difference." Another text. "Mom said you'd understand. She promised you wouldn't make this difficult." I looked at Patricia. She was sitting on the couch, face in her hands. "Your mother was wrong," I typed back. "Have a nice honeymoon. Or don't. Not my problem anymore." I blocked his number. Patricia looked up. "Rob, you didn't have to do that." "Yeah, I did. He's panicking. They don't have that kind of money." "Not my concern. Melissa's parents might help." "Good. Let her precious traditional family step up." My phone buzzed. Different number. "This is Melissa. I don't know what Dylan did to upset you, but taking away our honeymoon is cruel and manipulative. We're married now. This is supposed to be the happiest day of our lives, and you're ruining it." I showed the message to Patricia. She looked away. I typed back, "You call me pathetic. You cut me out of your wedding. Actions have consequences. Welcome to adulthood. Send block another number. Melissa's mother this time. Mr. Hayes, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Perhaps we can discuss this like adults." I didn't respond, just blocked it. Then my phone rang. Kevin Brock, Dylan's biological father. I almost laughed. "Yeah," I answered. Rob, it's Kevin. Listen, Dylan called me upset. Maybe we can work this out. Manto Man. Manto Man, I repeated. That's rich coming from you. I know we've had our differences. You don't know anything. You weren't there when he had pneumonia at age 10. You weren't there when he failed algebra. You weren't there for anything except trying to help my son. Your son? Now he's your son? Where was that energy for 18 years? Look, I can't give him 12 grand for a honeymoon. Can you just... No, I said and hung up. Patricia stood up. This is getting out of hand. It's just getting started. What does that mean? I pulled up the email from Lou. It means Monday morning I'm signing papers that revoke Dylan's entire trust. $50,000 gone. Her face went white. Rob, that's his future. He made his choice about his future. I'm making mine. He'll never forgive you. I'm not looking for forgiveness. I said, I'm looking for peace. Monday morning came with emails. Lots of them. I ignored most, but one caught my attention. Cinder Jessica Thornan, Dylan's ex-girlfriend from college. They dated for 4 years before Melissa came into the picture. Mr. Hayes, I heard what happened. I'm sorry. Dylan was lucky to have you. He just never realized it. Jess, short, simple, more meaningful than anything I gotten from my own family. I replied, Thank you, Jessica. That means more than you know. She responded within minutes. If you need someone to talk to, I'm around. Dylan and I don't speak anymore, but I remember how good you were to him, to both of us. I closed the email and headed to Lou's office. The drive took 20 minutes through downtown Columbus traffic. Lou's practice was in a converted Victorian on High Street, the kind of building that looked like someone's grandmother lived there. His assistant showed me into the conference room. Lou was already waiting. Files spread across the mahogany table. Rob, good to see you. Though I wish it was under better circumstances, Lou said, shaking my hand. Let's just get through this. He slid the first document across. This is the revocation for Dylan's primary trust. $50,000 gets reallocated to the Veterans Education Fund. Sign here, here, and initial here. I signed without hesitation. This one's the big kahuna, the grandchild fund. $250,000. Same destination. Lou pushed another. We went to my office. She sat across from my desk. I won't take much of your time. I just wanted to say in person what I wrote this morning. Dylan made a huge mistake. You two still in touch? Not really, but mutual friends talk. I heard about the wedding, about what Melissa said. She paused. You were always good to me. When Dylan and I were together, you treated me like family. You were family for a while. That's more than his real father ever did, she said quietly. We talked for 20 minutes. She told me about her job, her life. It felt normal, easy, like talking to someone who actually remembered who I was. After she left, I sat at my desk and realized something. The people who mattered, who really saw me, they weren't blood. They were the ones who showed up. Tuesday afternoon, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. California area code. I almost didn't answer. Robert Hayes, I said. Mr. Hayes, this is Roger Carrington, Melissa's father. I leaned back in my chair. What can I do for you, Mr. Carrington? I think we can dispense with formalities. You know why I'm calling? I really don't. My daughter is distraught. Your stepson is panicking. They're supposed to start their lives together, and instead they're dealing with financial chaos. Sounds like a them problem. I said, Mr. Hayes, I understand you're upset about the wedding invitation situation, but what you're doing is vindictive. Vindictive would be showing up to the wedding and making a scene. I stayed home quietly. Then I adjusted my financial arrangements. That's called boundaries. You canceled their honeymoon. I canceled them. My honeymoon gift. Big difference. Roger's voice hardened. I've spoken with an attorney. What you did might constitute financial elder abuse or coercive control. I laughed. actually laughed. Elder abuse. I'm 52, and coercive control requires an ongoing relationship. We don't have one anymore. The trust fund was mine to revoke at any time. Check the paperwork. Your son-in-law doesn't have a legal leg to stand on. This isn't about legality, it's about decency. You want to talk about decency? Let's talk about your daughter calling me pathetic. Let's talk about planning a wedding for months and not having the guts to tell me face to face that I wasn't wanted. That's not decency, that's cowardice. Silence on the line. Mr. Carrington, if you got nothing else, I've got work to do. We're not done, he said. Yeah, we are. I hung up. 10 minutes later, Patricia called. Roger Carrington just called me. He's furious. Good, Rob. He's talking about lawyers, about going after you legally. Let him try. Lou already confirmed I'm bulletproof on this. But the stress, the drama started when they excluded me. I'm just finishing what they began. Dylan's asking if you'll meet with him face to face. Just the two of you? No, Rob, please. He's my son, and I was his father for 19 years. Past tense. She was crying now. I could hear in her voice. I don't know how to fix this. You can't fix it. You knew what they were planning and you said nothing. You chose a side, now live with it. I ended the call, blocked Roger's number preemptively. That evening I got home to find my driveway blocked. 2 cars. One was Patricia's, the other I didn't recognize. I parked on the street and walked up. Patricia met me at the door. Rob, don't be angry. Dylan's here. He brought someone. Who? Kevin. I stopped cold. His biological father is in my house. They just want to talk. Please. I pushed past her. Dylan and Kevin were sitting in my living room. Kevin stood when I entered. He looked older than I remembered. Thinner, wearing a wrinkle button down. Rob, thanks for seeing us, Kevin said, extending his hand. I didn't shake it. You've got 5 minutes. Start talking. Dylan spoke first. His voice shook. Rob, I messed up. I know that now. Melissa's family pressured me and I went along with it. I should have stood up for you. Keep going. I called you pathetic. I'll let Melissa disrespect you. I took everything you did for granted. He wiped his eyes. I'm sorry. Kevin cleared his throat. Rob, I know we've never seen eye to eye, but I'm asking you. Father to father, don't punish Dylan for my failures. Father to father, I repeated. You weren't there when he had nightmares. You weren't there for driver's edition. You weren't there for anything. Don't you dare call yourself his father to me. I'm trying to do the right thing now, Kevin said. 20 years too late. Dylan stood up. Rob, please. I'll pay you back every cent. The car, the tuition, all of it. With what money? I asked. You can't even afford a honeymoon. I'll get a second job. I'll figure it out. You should have figured it out before you cut me out of your life. I didn't cut you out. I just didn't want drama at the wedding. No, I said, my voice hard. You didn't want me. Say it right. Dylan broke, started sobbing. Kevin put an arm around him. Patricia stood in the doorway crying, too. I felt nothing. Your 5 minutes are up. I said, get out of my house. Friday evening, 3 hours after I got home from work, my security system pinged. Motion at the front gate. I pulled up the camera feed on my phone. 5 people, 2 cars, Dylan's Honda in front, Patricia's SUV behind it. Dylan stood at the intercom. Next to him, Melissa in jeans and a sweatshirt, eyes red. Behind them, Patricia and 2 men in suits carrying briefcases. Lawyers. They'd actually brought lawyers to my house. Dylan pressed the call button. His voice came through the speaker. Rob, please, we just want to talk. Can we come in? Dylan said. I watched from my den, phone in hand, didn't move toward the gate controls. Rob, it's Patricia. Honey, please let us in. We can work this out. One of the lawyers stepped forward. Press the button. Mr. Hayes, my name is Todd Brennan. I represent Dylan and Melissa Hayes. We'd like to discuss a reasonable resolution to this dispute. I muted my phone and called my brother-in-law, James. Patricia's brother. "James, you at home?" I asked. "Yeah, just finished dinner." "What's up?" "Patricia's outside my gate with Dylan and 2 lawyers. Thought you should know." "Jesus, you want me to come over?" "No, just wanted someone from her family to know what's happening in case this gets ugly." "Rob, man, what are you doing? Protecting myself. Thanks for listening." I hung up, unmute the camera feed. Melissa was crying now, leaning against Dylan. Patricia had her phone out, texting someone, probably me. The phone on my hand bust. I ignored it. The second lawyer spoke. "Mr. Hayes, we're prepared to negotiate terms. Perhaps we can discuss a partial restoration of the trust in exchange for—" I turned off the speaker. Kept watching on video. Dylan said something to the lawyers. One shook his head. Dylan turned back to the camera, pressed the button again. "Rob, I know you're watching. Please, Melissa's pregnant. We found out yesterday. We need your help," Dylan said. "Pregnant?" Of course she was. I picked up my phone and called James again. That was fast. James answered. "They just told me Melissa's pregnant. Thought you should hear it from me before Patricia spins it." "Oh man, that changes things, doesn't it?" "No, I said it doesn't. Rob, come on. A grandkid. Not my grandkid. Not my problem. I wasn't good enough for the wedding. I'm not good enough for this either." Silence. Then James sighed. "You're really going to let them stand out there? They can leave any time they want. Nobody's forcing them to stay." I hung up, watched the screen. Patricia was on her phone now, calling someone, probably James. The lawyers looked uncomfortable, shifting their weight, checking watches. After 12 minutes, the first lawyer said something to Dylan, gestured toward the cars. Dylan shook his head, said something back. The lawyer shrugged and walked to his car. The second lawyer followed. Both vehicles pulled away. Dylan, Melissa, and Patricia remained. Dylan pressed the intercom one more time. "Rob, please, I'm begging you. I was wrong. I'll do anything. Just please talk to me." I set my phone down, walked to the kitchen, poured a bourbon, stood at the window, but not the one facing the gate. I looked out the backyard. The garden Patricia had planted 3 years ago. The patio furniture we picked out together. My phone rang. "James, your wife just called me crying. She says, you won't even talk to them. That Dylan's on his knees at your gate." James said, "He's not on his knees. He's standing. I'm watching the feed. Rob, for God's sake, they brought lawyers because they're desperate. They brought lawyers because they think I can be intimidated. They're wrong. There's a baby involved now. There's always something, James. Always an excuse. Always a crisis. I'm done being the emergency fund. You're going to regret this. Everyone keeps saying that. Nobody's been right yet." I ended the call, blocked James's number 2. The camera showed them leaving 20 minutes later. Patricia got her car alone. Dylan and Melissa sat in his Honda for a long time before finally driving away. I finished my bourbon, went to bed, slept fine. Sunday morning, I woke up to my phone exploding. Texts, missed calls, Facebook notifications. Something had happened overnight. I opened Facebook. Dylan had made a post. Public 3 hours ago. I need to be honest about something. My stepdad, who raised me since I was 8, isn't my life anymore. Not because he's a bad person, but because I made terrible choices. I didn't invite him to my wedding because my wife thought it would be easier without him there. I called him pathetic. I took every dollar he ever gave me and never said thank you. Now he's cut me off completely and I deserve it. If you see this, Rob, I'm sorry. I was wrong about everything. 473 comments, most supporting me, some calling Dylan manipulative for posting it publicly, a few calling me heartless for not forgiving him. Then I saw Jessica Thornton's comment post an hour ago. "Dylan, you don't get to publicly apologize and expect forgiveness. Rob deserves better than a Facebook post. He deserved better than how you treated him." I closed the app, made coffee, tried to ignore my phone. Patricia called at 9. "Rob, did you see what Dylan posted?" I saw it. Everyone's talking about it. His friends, my friends, people from church. This is humiliating. For who? Him or you? Both. People are asking me why this happened. What am I supposed to tell them? Tell them the truth. That your son excluded me and you let it happen. He's trying to make it right by blasting it on social media. That's not making it right. That's damage control. What do you want from him? Nothing. That's the point. I want nothing. She hung up. My phone kept buzzing. Friend requests from people I didn't know. Messages from distant relatives. Snorts. Everyone had an opinion. Then a private message from Melissa. Mr. Hayes, I know you hate me. I deserve that. But please, for the baby's sake, can we talk? I'm 8 weeks pregnant and terrified. We have nothing. No savings, no insurance, no plan. Dylan's trying to work 3 jobs just to cover rent. Please. I stare at the message. Read it 3 times. Then I blocked her too. An hour later, someone knocked on my door. I looked through the window. Jessica Thornton. She was holding a casserole dish. I opened the door. Jessica. Hey. Saw the Facebook drama. Thought you might want some company. And lasagna. She smiled. You didn't have to do this. I know, but Dylan's post pissed me off. He doesn't get to play victim after what he did to you. I let her in. We sat in the kitchen, ate lasagna, talked about everything except Dylan. Work, hobbies, life. Normal conversation with someone who didn't want anything from me. When she left 2 hours later, she hugged me at the door. You did the right thing. Don't let anyone tell you different. After she left, I went back to Facebook. Dylan's post had been shared 87 times. People were picking sides, creating teams, turning my family disaster into entertainment. I deactivated my account, shut it all down. Monday morning, Lou called. Rob, I'm getting calls. Dylan's lawyer is claiming financial elder abuse. Says you're weaponizing money. Can he win? Not a chance, but he can make noise. Might want to prepare for a media angle. Media. Local news loves this stuff. Stepfather cuts off ungrateful stepson. It's clickbait. Let them run it. I've got documentation for everything. Your call. Just giving you a heads up. I hung up and went to work. Did my job, came home, lived my life. They want a drama. They could have it without me. 3 weeks after the Facebook post, Patricia moved out. No fight, no dramatic exit. She just packed her things while I was at work and left a note on the kitchen counter. Rob, I can't do this anymore. Dylan needs me and you've made it clear where you stand. I'm staying with my sister. My lawyer will contact you about the separation. Patricia, I read it twice, felt nothing. Maybe relief. The divorce papers arrived 4 days later. She wanted a house, half my retirement. Her lawyer made it sound like I was the villain. Lou reviewed everything. She's asking for a lot, but Ohio's no fault. We can negotiate. Give her what's fair, nothing more. What about Dylan? She'll argue you need to restore his trust as part of marital assets. The money's gone, legally transferred. She has no claim. She might drag this out. Let her. Work became my refuge. Precision manufacturing promoted me to director of operations. More responsibility, more travel. I buried myself in it. Jessica and I started having dinner once a week. Nothing romantic. Just 2 people who understood what it meant to be discarded by the same family. You doing okay? She asked one evening at an Italian place downtown. Better than I expected, I said. Dylan's still posting. Different angle now. Says he's trying to be a better father than his fathers were. Good for him. You don't care at all, do you? I thought about it. I care for 19 years. I'm tired of caring. She nodded. I get that. 8 months after the wedding, Lou called. Settlement's done. Patricia gets the house and 40% of retirement. You keep everything else, including full control of all trusts and investments. She tried for Dylan's money. She tried. Judge shut it down. Said the trusts were your separate property established before marriage with clear documentation. When do I sign? Tomorrow. Then you're free. Free? Strange word for it. The divorce finalized on a Tuesday. I signed papers in Lou's office, shook his hand, walked out into Columbus sunshine. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Mr. Hayes, this is Dylan. I know you blocked me. Mom told me about the divorce. I'm sorry I destroyed your marriage. That wasn't what I wanted. D. I stared at it for a long moment, then deleted it without responding. 14 months after the wedding, that never included me. I sold the house. Too many memories. Too many ghosts. Bought a condo downtown, smaller, cleaner mind. Jessica helped me move in. We've been dating for 2 months by then. Nothing serious. Just seeing where it went. This is nice, she said, looking around the empty living room. Fresh start. That's the idea. My phone rang. Lou, Rob, got some news. Dylan's lawyer tried one more angle. Claimed you defrauded him by promising money verbally. Judge laughed him out of court. It's really over completely. He can't touch you legally. You're bulletproof. After I hung up, Jessica asked, Everything okay? Yeah, finally. She smiled. Good, because I have news too. Remember that email I sent to the Veterans Education Fund asking about their donors? Vaguely, they're naming their new scholarship program after you. The Robert Hayes Scholarship for Children of Absent Fathers. $250,000 endowment. They want you at the announcement ceremony. I sat down slowly. They're doing what? You changed lives, Rob. 20 kids are getting college money because of what you did. Something in my chest loosened. Not forgiveness for Dylan, not reconciliation. Something else, purpose. The ceremony was 3 weeks later. 20 families, 20 kids who'd grown up like Dylan without fathers, struggling. I shook hands, took photos, listened to their stories. One kid, 17, looked like Dylan at that age. Mr. Hayes, thank you. My dad left when I was 6. Nobody ever stepped up. This scholarship means everything. I nodded, unable to speak. That night, Jessica and I had dinner at my place. You did good today, she said. I just redirected money. You redirected it to people who deserved it. That's not nothing. My phone buzzed. Patricia Rob Dylan's daughter was born yesterday. 7LB healthy. Thought you should know. I showed Jessica the text. You going to respond? She asked. No. You sure? I thought about it. About 19 years of showing up. About a wedding invitation that never came. About the word pathetic. I'm sure I said and deleted the message. Some bridges you don't rebuild. You just walk away and let them collapse behind you. I built something better instead. 20 scholarships, a new life, a woman who saw me clearly and stayed anyway. Dylan got what he wanted, a life without me in it, and I got what I earned. Peace.